Okay, let's get into some game news while we're speaking shit here. Suppose we could stick with the Nintendo shenanigans and we can touch on the surprise announcement slash not so
Yeah.
surprising announcements of the new Switch, but the not so new Switch.
Yeah, I guess the surprise is that it wasn't what everyone was expecting it to be based on, people want to say it was just rumors and leaks, but it was like reporting by many outlets. Bloomberg had a big report on it. You had Eurogamer corroborating some things. Everyone was under the impression that this Switch would be the Switch Pro, so to speak, and
Yeah.
be like a slight bump up in performance, have a dock capable of 4K output. Turns out, I mean, that might still be coming, maybe. Who knows? But the Switch we're
Fake
getting this
news.
year is definitely not that.
Yeah.
So it is the Nintendo Switch OLED model. And the biggest change is in the name. It's a bigger screen, so 7 inches as opposed to 6.1. And it is an OLED panel, which anyone who's played OLED will tell you is way
Awesome.
better than the current LCD. Yeah. So I mean, the original Vita had an OLED panel. A lot of premium 4K TVs on our OLED. They provide much better contrast, better brightness. Well, it depends. But you'll just have much richer colors, and
Yeah.
the better contrast is a huge thing. So yeah, that's the first big one. The other big one was the kickstand, I think.
There it
The
is.
kickstand is actually a
Adjustable
thing.
stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks cool. I mean,
I mean, it's a
the fact
much
that
better
you can
design.
adjust it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, way better. It looks far more stable as well.
Mm.
So I think that's cool.
Better than the
And
toothpick on the
oh
on the
god, yeah,
existing
no, the one on the
Switch.
current Switch is like I barely use it because
I'm so scared I'm gonna break.
it's so unreliable. It really
Yeah.
is. The improved audio is actually also, I think, a really cool addition because, I mean, I don't think the audio on when I play Switch portably is bad, but if it's better, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm, stoked for that.
Uh.
Yeah, most of these improvements are all for portable play. If you play primarily in docked, the only real improvement, which may be a bit of a con as well, is you get a wired LAN port. And I say it's
Bizarre.
a con because you get a wired LAN port, but you get one fewer USB port as a
Oh, really?
result. So yeah, so it's a more of a trade-off. So yeah, this upgrade is definitely geared at people who play the Switch portably because it is the same internals. Nintendo's confirmed there's no graphical upgrade. There's no difference in performance. So if you were hoping for the dock to maybe provide a upscaled 4K output so it would look better on TVs, like I did, it's not happening, at least not with this
Not
iteration
happening.
of the Switch.
No.
So yeah, it's coming out on October
October
8th, I
8th,
think.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to be $350, so it is $50 more than the current Switch. So it will be, I mean, the current Switch locally goes for $8
I think
grand.
it's 8, yeah.
So I would expect, I mean, they haven't announced a price, but I'm going to spitball and guess
9.
around 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is wild to think
Um,
when you can get a PlayStation 5 discless for what is it? Is it 9 or 10?
10.
The 10,
10.
yeah.
Yeah, you can get a Xbox Series S for 8. So it's a tough sell. I mean, as someone who bought the Switch when it launched at 6,300 rand, I think it was at the time, or 6-7, I can't recall. I mean, yes,
I
things have
think it was
changed.
6, yeah.
The rand has changed. That's the Switch price hasn't increased. It's the economy that has changed. But I find it hard as a Switch owner to look at this and go, yeah, I'm going to sell my Switch and upgrade to this one. But then again, maybe this isn't the product for existing Switch owners. I think if you are buying a new Switch,
I think,
this is the one to get.
This
Yeah.
to me, I mean, my knee-jerk reaction was exactly the same, I think, as many existing Switch owners going like, oh, like I'd love to have a new Switch. Like, I love my Switch, but if you gave me a 4K OLED Switch with, like, I don't know, all the bells and whistles where it's like, oh shit, like this is a big upgrade, then I'm like, cool, I'm there. But the fact that it is, look, and I say just is like the new screen's cool, the stand's cool, the speakers are cool, but I have a Switch Lite. Like, I'm not the target audience, I don't think, for this. This is ideal for someone who only has, say, the Switch Lite, for example, or who doesn't have a Switch. You want to now have like, if you've got a Switch Lite, you think, maybe having a dock would be nice, and I want to have a better handheld experience. Cool. Or I've never had a Switch. Shit, why would I buy the original when I can get this beautiful new version of it? So yeah, and not only that, like there've been no announcements on, cutting the price of the original, but I have to believe at some stage they will eventually drop that price. And it just puts more Switches into the hands of people, which is not a bad thing. Like, I think, how many Switches have been sold? I swear I saw a figure the other day. It's like, is it 70 or 80 million?
Yeah, it's around about there.
Which is like ludicrous.
It's absurd. It's crazy.
Really, really high. Like, the Switch has been one of Nintendo's best consoles. And like, if you listen to the show, you know that Alessandro and I are big advocates of the Switch. Like, we love playing on the Switch. But like, I am a bit like, I would have liked a better upgrade. But you know what?
Yeah,
it's not off the table. Like, there might be something next year. Like, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I think at this stage,
I don't think it's off the table.
No.
There's I don't want to read so much into, there was a lot of reporting on a Switch Pro coming out this year, but we're also still in the midst of a microprocessor shortage.
Exactly,
so
yeah.
It could have easily been Nintendo going, well, we have these things, we have the production ready, and the idea was to have a new chip in this thing, but we cannot produce the number we want to without waiting for these chips. So we are just going to change our plan.
Yeah,
this will be the interim model, and then the chip upgrade one will now come much further down the line.
Well, that was what I thought, like, after, the day that followed, is like, why would Nintendo take this approach? And it's exactly that, because I think the internals are 100% the same, to the point that even the battery is like the exact same size.
Yeah, literally the same.
And I have to believe it's 100% a production line thing of like, well, we've already got this production line for batteries, for example. Like, it would be silly to try to change it up now when there are shortages. So let's just stick with it. Maybe this just pads out the Switch for another year or two, and then we look at upgrading or introducing a mid-gen Switch, or maybe we just introduce a new one. Like, I don't know what their plan is in 2 or 3 years.
I think at this point, like, I'm not super in the camp of we will get a mid-gen refresh now. I think this is the refresh. I think we will get a Switch 2. You know what I mean? I don't see the point in launching a mid-gen refresh like 6 years into the thing's life cycle. So, but then again, Nintendo does whatever the fuck it wants. As clear by this, everyone was expecting one thing and they didn't go with that. So, trying to predict what Nintendo is going to do is very difficult. So, yeah. I do think though that, if you have the opportunity to look at the OLED model versus the LCD one, you will definitely look at the OLED one and be like, fuck, I really want that,
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Yeah, because it like, I mean, just turn on your Vita next to your current Switch and you can tell the screen without the resolution difference, like just the color and depth of color is on another level.
Oh yeah, I think I'm more upset by the fact that I have no valid excuse.
Exactly.
To upgrade. I'm like, damn it.
I have no reason to get this upgrade. It is like a silly upgrade for an existing Switch owner, in my view. But yeah, I mean, the one thing that bums me out, and this was expected, but I would have thought that all the noise over it would have changed something, but it's using the exact same peripherals, which means the exact same Joy-Cons with the exact same thumbstick drift. Yeah. So that sucks. Like, I know that is not a Nintendo specific issue because all 3 console makers use the same parts for their thumbsticks, the same metal contacts that eventually wear out and produce the drift. But, I feel like the Switch is generally the one that is brought up in conversations the most when it comes to this, and I thought Nintendo would maybe address that, and doesn't seem like they do.
My PS5, not even a year old. Not even, what is it, came out in November. So what, 8, 9 months old? I have awful drift on my controller.
Fuck.
And like,
Unbelievable.
I mean, I play a fair bit of PS5, but I know I don't play nearly as much as people who have a PS5 as their dedicated console. It's just like,
Yeah. No, that's ridiculous.
yeah, I need to.
At least the DualSense seems to be a much easier controller to open and try and fix that, because the Joy-Con is so small. I mean, when I modded my Joy-Con, it like I ended up breaking one. They are very delicate little pieces of hardware. So
Yeah. The very least, my DualSense is still under warranty, so I'll make a plan.
Oh yeah, that's also true. So
Yeah.
you need to get that shit swapped out.
Sorted. When I'm done
Maybe
with
you'll get a
Integrate,
nice red or black one as a replacement.
imagine. But keeping up with the Sony news, Sony had a little sneaky showcase this week.
Yeah,
a
little
state of
sneaky state of play.
with Norman Reedus and his BB.
Yeah, so it was billed as a smaller state of play, mostly indie focused. It didn't seem like there was, big news at it. Even I didn't stay up to watch it, but like looking back, I was like, yeah, okay, maybe it was not so bad that I didn't stay up watching it, because it wasn't that much. But we can run through what was there, because there were some really cool announcements. Moss Book 2, so basically a Moss sequel, is in development, they announced. If you don't know what Moss is, it's like a top-down adventure game where you play as like a mouse knight, but it's in VR. It is probably one of my favorite PSVR games and one of my favorite VR games in general, because I think it uses VR in really inventive ways, and I just think the story is cute. And I like it a lot, so I'm keen that there's a sequel coming.
Moss 2.
Then we got
Arcadegeddon?
Yeah, Arcadegeddon is a hero shooter from the creators of Predator Hunting Grounds and Friday the 13th.
Okay.
Yeah, it's out in early access already. I didn't particularly like those previous two games, but I'm keen to see this out, because I think it's got a cool style. It reminds me a lot of Splatoon.
This is like Splatoon and Fortnite had a baby.
It does, yeah.
Really?
And then dubstep. The soundtrack is so dubstep, it's crazy. So yeah, that's out in early access now. Then we got another look at Tribes of Midgard, which is an isometric action game, but Norse mythology. So that's out on July 27th, so later this month. Another trailer for Fist, which stands for Forged in Shadow Torch. Yeah. You play as like a bunny that's got this like fucking huge mech arm. It looks cool. And it's like a side-scrolling. I can't tell if it's like a Metroidvania, but it's like a side-scrolling action game.
Nice.
It looks real cool. I'm keen for this. And that's out on September 7th. Hunter's Arena Legends.
Another battle
royale. It's a live service dress-up brawler. Yeah, battle royale. Leaving early access on PC and coming to PS4 and PS5 as part of PS Plus.
Oh, so that's an early little PS Plus reveal, I guess, for August.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sifu, which is that third person. It's like, what if we took like a brawler with Streets of Rage vibes and made it a third person action game?
Oh, wow.
It looks really fucking good. I cannot wait for this game. It has been delayed to early 2022, but I am super stoked. I just think it looks really good and the action looks awesome. So, yeah.
Ooh,
it's from the developers of Absolver, which was basically like a martial arts MMO. So they've got some pedigree in making these sort of fighting systems.
I remember seeing some discourse on Twitter or whatever, where in this game, you if you die, you basically age.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think eventually you just age out and die. So
oh shit!
Yeah,
don't die. That's really cool though.
Jet. We got another trailer for Jet the Far Shore. Actually, the first gameplay trailer for Jet the Far Shore. So the reason why I'm super excited about this game is it's made by the developers of Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery, which is an incredible game that you should absolutely play. And the gameplay trailer is like you are an explorer on a foreign planet, and it's more like pacifist exploration. So you're often in this jet that is like flying across this planet, and when you get out, you're in a first-person view. So the shift in perspective between the two is kind of really cool. It gives me No Man's Sky vibes
I was
a
just
lot.
gonna say this
Also,
is No Man's Sky. This the
yeah,
prequel
it
or
looks,
sequel.
but it's not multiple planets. You're just on one planet.
Okay,
But the exploration vibe seems very cool. So yeah, I'm very excited for this game, and it's still on track to come out later this year.
nice.
And we got a a trailer for I guess it's a anime adaptation. Listen to this title: Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, the Hinokami Chronicles. That is one. It's got 2 hyphens in it.
It does, and they're like
No one is
places.
typing that out in a review.
The
Yeah.
Hinokami Chronicles. Nice.
It is a video game adaptation of the Demon Slayer anime, coming out October 15th.
Nice.
Got a new trailer for the Yakuza spin-off, Judgment. The sequel is called Lost Judgment. And
this is an actual sequel. Okay.
yeah, the quotation here by Kotaku is, "It looks like more Judgment," which I agree with. Yes.
Who would have thunk?
We got a trailer and a release date for Death Stranding on PS5. The director's cut of Death Stranding will include new story missions, combat mechanics, and even a racing mode. Because why not? Yeah. I looked at the trailer, and some of the new mechanics look really cool. Like, they've added more combat mechanics. They've even added a shooting range for some of the new weapons you get. But I think some of the cargo weapons are really cool. Like, you get a bipedal robot that can carry cargo for you, or just carry sand bridges. You've got ramps that you can build that can boost your car over them.
Nice.
You've got something called a cargo cannon, so you can shoot cargo from one end of a chasm to another. I guess you're going to damage your cargo doing that, but whatever.
But there must be a reason for that. Maybe you shoot it into like a, I don't know, grass or something.
If I can't shoot myself into there, like, what's the point?
Kojima.
So then there's also new story missions, in this racing mode. So it is a $10 upgrade, but unlike Ghost of Tsushima, which is a $10 upgrade just to get the higher resolution and higher frame rate, and then $30 for the DLC. This $10 upgrade is for everything. Yeah, it's everything's included, which I'm okay with that $10 thing if it's like all the new content, and I kind of just want to play this game with the DualSense. I feel like the DualSense is a game that would super benefit this game. So.
You know when you're going to fall over.
Yeah, exactly. So that's out September 24th, and cross save will be supported, which is cool.
Nice.
And then there was a 9-minute gameplay walkthrough for Deathloop, a Microsoft Studios game that is only coming to PlayStation 5.
Hilarious. This game, so I haven't watched any footage outside of, I suppose, the initial gameplay trailers, because I'm worried about the exact same thing you mentioned earlier that you had with Rift Apart, where you see enough of it, a lot of the surprise gets ruined. And it feels like Deathloop has just had a lot of time to be shown off.
It's a too many gameplay
it's just been at too many. So
yeah,
I'm excited for it, but
yeah, I'm with you. I'm stoked, but like, I've seen enough. I just want to play the game now, and I think it is a consequence of the game being delayed to later this year. So, but yeah, it looks good. I think what I like most about it is that it looks like Dishonored, which I really like, but it looks like Dishonored where you're encouraged to kill and go loud. Where Dishonored would often not penalize you, but at the end of each mission, you'd be like, hey, this is how stealthy you were. And it would always feel bad if I wasn't super stealthy. This one is like, use your powers, but also it is a shooter. So yeah, I'm very keen for this.
I'm also very
I think
keen.
it looks great.
Soon, coming out soonish.
Very soon, yeah.
Cool. That's the PlayStation Showcase. We talk about
the next one.
Ubisoft. New Assassin's Creed will be a live service game, codenamed Assassin's Creed Infinity.
Everyone's going Infinity. We've got Halo Infinite, we've got Assassin's Creed Infinity.
I mean,
yeah. So this comes from a report from Jason Schreier at Bloomberg, who says this is still a good 3-4 years away. Yeah, listen, I don't know what to think of this. It could go two ways. I feel like the last two Assassin's Creed games have been far too big. Valhalla and Odyssey were more concerned with content over quality of content,
Yeah.
in my view. And I thought Origins found a good balance of not being too colossally big, but also, having a lot of depth to the gameplay and to its stories.
Yeah.
So my immediate knee-jerk reaction is like, oh god, they're just going to keep making these games bigger and bigger if it's going to be like an evolving platform. But since then, Jason Schreier's tweeted like saying, this could also be a platform for smaller stories. Instead of making a single release of a smaller game, they just put on a smaller adventure with a different time period onto here. And
Yeah.
if that's what they're looking at, then sure, I'm into that.
Yeah.
If we get smaller stories like the Irish DLC for Valhalla that you played,
Yeah.
that's cool. I'd play that. I really am not keen on a 100-hour adventure, but
It's too much.
Yeah. What I do like about this is that the idea is that this is a platform for multiple different timelines.
Yeah.
So it won't be locked into like, Norse mythology or Greek mythology, whatever. It could be it could hop between different time periods, which is cool. But yeah, it's 3 to 4 years away, so what we think of it now might radically change. It might also never come to be. So
yeah, and we also, I mean, this isn't necessarily the next Assassin's Creed. I'm sure they have something in the pipeline for after.
Yeah, I can't imagine them not releasing another Assassin's Creed for the next 4 years. That just seems ludicrous. So yeah. I assume we'll get one big core release before this really hits.
Assassin's Creed Japan, Assassin of Tsushima.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima, basically.
My goodness. Okay, then we've got some smaller bits and bobs of news. We can start with a sealed copy of The Legend of Zelda selling for a casual $870,000. I mean,
it's a lot of money.
It's a fair bit of money, It's what's like 15 million rand, 14 million rand. Cool.
Yeah, around about there. It's a ton of money. So it's a sealed copy of the original Legend of Zelda on NES. This Perspex case looks super heavy duty to keep it sealed.
Holy hell,
it's got
yeah.
a rating of 90, so or 9.0. So I don't know what that means in terms of auctioneering.
I love that this is like an original pack of the Zelda, and it says includes invaluable maps and strategic playing tips. Yo, Nintendo. Got him. This is, I mean, so what
it was released in 1988. Oh, 1987.
Yeah, this variant was produced for only a few months in late 1987 before a new variant was replaced.
Why it's rare.
Yeah. So I think I mean, I don't know a lot about, vintage stuff, but as far as I can understand, 9 is obviously a very high rating. And I could be wrong, but I think it's basically impossible to have a 10 because, if you handle something, it's already lost its value because it's
Damn, it sounds like video games.
Oh my god! So I think a 9 is like the person literally had this and then just sealed it. Like it is sealed. You can actually see in this.
Yeah, you can see the plastic is sealed. It's probably sealed in like a airtight place so it didn't degrade or anything like that.
But can you imagine being this person, and now you hang on to this game and you just, I don't know whether you just had the insights or by pure luck, you just know this thing's worth so much money. It will be worth a lot of money one day. Like, what would be the modern day version of this? What game are you sealing so that you can sell in like 30, 40 years?
It's a 35-year long game, It's crazy. I didn't think it would sell for this much, but that's crazy. It's a lot of money, and whoever bought this is putting it in a collection. They're not playing this game, obviously.
No.
You can play this game on your fucking Nintendo Switch if you want to. It's like,
but you know what? Someone's rich.
Yes, yeah, exactly. That's it.
Someone's rich.
God. I see a Lupin next to you again.
No, this is a
Deja
Luna
Vu
now.
3.
Hello.
Oh, is this Luna being like,
I don't have space on my lap. Sorry. Lupin is.
She's looking. She's like, Lupin's there. How dare
I
he?
just want some cuddles. No, what are you doing off the table? Oh my god. Yeah. Bounce back to Sony. Sony pulls an ad showing a PS5 upside down.
This was funny. Yeah.
Hilarious.
There was a There's a tweet with an ad for like Sony products. And in it you had someone playing a PS5 and they had it sitting horizontally on their entertainment system and it was upside down. Like that disk drive was on the top. It should not be there.
That will break your game, your machine.
It will break
So,
your game.
yeah.
Also, the stand doesn't work like that. So how did they manage to get it standing like that? I don't know. I think it, at the end of the day, it's an advertising blunder, and ad agencies are brought in, or have internal ones, and a mistake like this could be made. I just think it's very funny.
It's hilarious. I mean, the fact that it was pulled down.
Yeah, the fact that Sony pulled it down
Like,
is
no.
quite... I wonder if they did that because they're like, oh god, if people watch this and try to put their consoles like that and then they break, maybe it's a...
But who
it's more
would,
of a legal thing.
Who would do? Yeah, I think it's a legal thing. But look, I acknowledge that there would be one person on the internet who would do it to be like, "Huh, Sony, this is false advertising. I'm suing you." But I would never watch a thing and go, "Huh, maybe I should try putting my PS5 the wrong way around, just for shits and giggles." Like I don't have 12 grand to just burn.
I tell you, I had to watch a YouTube video when I moved to figure out how that fucking stand clips on horizontally. Because vertically it's fine.
It's easy.
But horizontally, I'm just like, where does this clip on? And it's like you have to put it, and it has to clip on two specific like little vent openings. But there's no indication, where horizontally it needs to it's fucking ridiculous. That stand is so shit. It's really, really terrible. So I can understand how this happened. Yeah.
Okay, and then last two pieces of news. The Witcher 3 Complete Edition is a next-gen update with gear from the Netflix series. So happening right now, will be over by the time you listen to this, I think, is WitcherCon.
It's already over by the time we're recording.
Oh, is it just a...
Yeah, it's just like a day stream, yeah.
You just add con onto the end of it, I immediately think it's a weekend thing. Like, whoa, WitcherCon. WitchCon, a whole weekend... bonanza.
Damn, there's some priests from the 1700s in Spain going, fuck, this is what we warned them about. They've even got a conference for their witches now instead of burning them.
Can't believe this. So obviously WitcherCon, we got I think a teaser for the second season of the Witcher show, which is coming out in December. Praise be. We thought it would be, but good to know that it is
December
in fact coming
17th.
out in December. And yeah, The Witcher 3 is now coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X, and I think PC will also get the upgrade. Yeah, it's just going to be modern day Witcher, which is not a bad thing at all.
I think they said they're adding like ray tracing to it. So yeah, that's going to be cool. They're also putting some DLC in it inspired by the show, which is interesting.
That's cool.
Please don't make my Geralt look like Henry Cavill. Keep those two very separate.
You say that, but it might happen.
Yeah, it might happen. I mean, it's like the Insomniac Peter Parker thing. It's like, no, we didn't do it to make him look like Tom Holland. It's just a coincidence that he's really looking like Tom Holland. Like,
yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Having not played the Witcher DLC, it might be a nice excuse to go back and play them, because I'll now have the bells and whistles of a, very... Look, The Witcher 3, pretty as is. Like, really one of the most beautiful looking games.
Yeah.
But now add in some ray tracing and some modern day shenanigans, and I'm there.
Yeah, I think that's why I've also just been holding out on playing the DLC, because I know that this is coming. So, yeah, super keen on it. They also announced a release date for the Witcher anime, which stars...
What?
Ugh. Who's Geralt's mentor in Wild Hunt 3? Vesemir.
Vesemir, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a young Vesemir. So it's like an anime. It looks very much like Castlevania in terms of animation style.
Interesting.
So that's coming out end of August.
Oh, okay. That's not too far.
Yeah, Witcher blown up. Who would have thunk?
Meanwhile, the authors, although I suppose the authors got his just dues because the show...
Yeah, he's involved with the Netflix stuff. Yeah. He's just still fighting with CD Projekt about rights to the games because he feels like he sold them for too little.
Yeah, look, I feel for the guy, but it is like... you just thought like, eh. But then...
And also, the games aren't based on any of the books. They are technically non-canon sequels to the books.
Yeah, it's interesting, because I think it obviously draws. Like, I think there are references to the books, but
Definitely,
for
yeah.
all intents and purposes, they are completely separate.
Yeah, they sequels to. I mean, the first game picks up from where the last book ends. So, yeah, I don't know. I read a thing. I don't know if it was this week or just this morning. I can't remember. But the first game nearly didn't star Geralt. The CD
What?
Projekt Red nearly went with the character created Witcher, which
Oh
would have been
my.
a completely
Holy
different
hell.
trajectory for the
Yeah.
series. Yeah,
She's like,
very glad they went with Geralt.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good lord. And last piece of news, Robocop is getting a video game made by, is it
Yeah.
Nacon?
Yeah, publisher Nacon. I can't remember who the developer. I think it's the same developer who did that Terminator game recently.
Yeah.
Which wasn't terrible. But yeah, this is only coming out in 2023. I'm not sure why they announced it so early. And the teaser is like, there's no gameplay in this
What do we
teaser, but
see? Oh, we see the city.
yeah, you see the
Cool.
city. You see his gun come out of his hip. You know,
Whoop.
the real RoboCop shit. I
Mhm.
think the one thing I'm worried about, and I'm pretty sure this is what will happen, is that this will end up being a shooter where you just kill a lot of people as a robot cop.
Nice.
Where even the movies aren't about that. The movies are real, like, messages on industrialized and cop violence. It's all about the cops belong to a big corporate conglomerate and how they use violence to keep their rule of law in check. So,
Yeah.
like, how do you make a game with those undertones where you're blasting away people? So I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. I guess we'll just
Anyway,
have to wait and see.
people in 2023 are going to be real shocked that RoboCop was actually political. Who would have
What?
known? Yeah, fucking
Games
what?
aren't political. Keep it out
Yeah.
of my shit. I'm joking for those who don't pick up on that. But that's gaming news.